go, 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 go. That's the birthday. That's the birthday.
Yo, what up, Z-Pack? Today's episode brought to you by Transitions Optical. Yeah, holla at your blue light boy. Yeah. What up? Z-Pack, it's your boy Z-Dog MD. We have a special guest today, Mrs. Dog MD. Mrs. Dog MD. And we got Tom Heineber and Logan on the board.
Ooh, ooh. We got new glasses.
Oh, heck yeah.
Right.
3 people wearing glasses today. And that brings me to a little announcement. We have been looking for people who are aligned with the vision of Health 3.0 to help sponsor the show so we can bring education to the masses. And Transitions Optical reached out and they said, yo, we love what you're doing. We like your style of humor. We think you're moderately to severely dope. Should we do a music video?
One of the 2 people?
Yeah, one of the 2 people who believe that. The other is one of my daughters. Only one. The other one thinks I'm a shill. They said, let's make a video or do something like that. And I said, I don't know anything about eyewear because I actually don't wear glasses. I have 20/15 vision and I didn't understand. And they started talking about it and I'm like, actually, this is really interesting. Then I hit up Tom and I was like, Tom, you wear glasses, don't you? Like, would you be interested in anything to do with transitions?
I was like, hell, I was like, yeah.
You know, but maybe for you, they have special presbyopia glasses.
How dare you call me old? For the people who don't speak Latin, Miss Harvard, presbyopia means age-related decrease in vision, and I have that. However, just because I have to hold my notes here doesn't mean I'm less of a human being. I do have to read one quick disclaimer before we get into a show that was made possible by Transitions because we want to actually teach you about eye health. So we're not here to shill glasses, we're not here to do anything like that. We're here to raise an understanding because as I learned about it, I was like, I don't know anything about the eye, and I got 2 of them. So here's the disclaimer. Transitions Optical is a sponsor of this post. If you have any questions about what is discussed here today or about the brand in general, there are a handful of eye care professionals affiliated with Transitions who are monitoring through the session and they'll help answer your questions as well. So they're going to be going through the comments and if you have a specific question about eyewear, they can answer it so we can focus on teaching you stuff about the ojos, which is Latin for eye. It's actually Spanish for eye. Anyways, what do you think, Tom Heineber? Should we do this?
It's important to note that we're not chilling because Transitions Optical is the leading provider of plastic photochromic lenses to optical manufacturers worldwide. Millions of lives have been changed. It's true.
We would never shill Z-Pack, as you can tell by Tom Heineber.
Z, did you know that when going from indoor to outdoor conditions, transition lenses help your eyes adjust to changing light better than they would on their own?
They do.
Fun fact.
Why don't we get into teaching about eyes?
You're a better
okay?
reader than we thought.
You are. Yeah, I actually didn't realize he could read.
He can see now. That's why.
Absolutely amazing. Like he's been so big on audiobooks. I'm like, can the guy actually read, or is he?
The Z-Packers always get mad at me because I wear my prescription sunglasses on this show. So now look. I don't have to look like a total jerk on the show anymore.
That's true. So actually,
is it just the glasses, though, Tom?
Oh, well, that's me.
So,
okay.
All kidding aside, one of the reasons I actually wanted to work with Transitions is that Tom always wears his sunglasses on the show. And I was like, Tom, why do you do that? You look like a derelict. And he said, well, because they're prescription, and I don't want to carry 2 sets of glasses around. And so when Transitions came at us, I'm like, we have a solution. The Tom Heineber solution. Now he's got sunglasses and optical glasses.
It was amazing because then I learned that transition lenses continually adapt to changing light, bringing out the best in everything you see. So life looks more vivid, vibrant, and true.
You know what?
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's never too late just to kill this whole thing and just go back to being full-time doctors. Like this really, oh, hi. So anyways, like I was saying, we really want to talk about the eyes today because we learned a lot actually talking to these guys that I thought was interesting. And it has a lot to do with protection of your health in the future. Just like skin, sunscreen and things like that, we learned UV radiation is dangerous. It turns out there's a lot of similarities to the eye, and I didn't know anything about this, and so I learned quite a bit about it. So I thought, let's go through the eye. And, and again, full disclosure, I don't wear glasses. When I was young, I had a telescope. I pointed it directly at the sun, focused on it, and stared at it with both eyes. Now I have superhuman vision. You explain it.
Well, it turns out that you do need light.
It turns out you do need light. So actually, the way that the eye develops, light in our in the visual spectrum, which is actually a very narrow part of the overall spectrum of radiation, visible light's tiny, but you need it, especially when you're young, to develop the eyes. Without light, if you actually blindfold a cat as it's developing, which is a mean thing to do, they will actually be blind. They will never develop vision. So you need light not just for the developing of the optical cortex that processes light information, but also for the actual eye itself. So for the eye to grow properly, you need light. And actually, inhibition, this is something I learned, inhibition of the elongation of the eye is accomplished by light as well. And so there's some sort of idea that you need a normal amount of light when you're young to actually have the appropriate refraction. In other words, for the lens and the eye to bend light appropriately so the image is sharp. So there's some theorizing that could it be that since we don't get 1 to 2 hours of outside bright light daily like we're maybe supposed to, is that creating a generation of nearsighted kids? And the Chinese actually have been disproportionately affected by this. Let's show the slide. This is a Chinese elementary school where it was felt that if you force, myopia or nearsightedness was so prevalent that they felt that if you forced kids to keep a certain distance from the page, it would prevent nearsightedness. Well, that's something that we like to call wrong.
They look like they're on a roller coaster ride, like Math the roller coaster.
Math the roller coaster.
The world's most boring roller coaster.
Only in China would you have
Math
Math.
is exciting.
See, there you go. Only in China would Math be a roller coaster.
I think I needed
this is amazing.
I needed one of those bars growing up.
Exactly. Well, what was your family picture like? I remember.
Well, all of our family portraits from Sears and that kind of thing.
Of course, they're from Sears.
They had a family of 5. We all had these really big glasses because we were all super nearsighted.
They looks like something that escaped from Jeff Goldblum's The Fly. Like it's just these huge, and they're all in the glamour shot. They're all just like this, and there's a little picture-in-picture of like your brother Alex, and he's just like this, and it's stunning.
They need to get those kids some transitions, which by the way are available in a variety of frame styles, from aviator to cat eye. Did you know that, Lana?
I did.
Oh.
It's never too late. We could just go back to Stanford, take full-time job.
But I think there must be something genetic, right?
So there's probably a genetic component and there's a developmental component. I think it's a mix of both, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, it's clear that some degree of light is very important for development. Now, what is light in general? Logan, see that next slide. Oh, snap! The solar spectrum.
Is light.
Roy G. Biv in the house. Red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. You know that I'm gonna see the light and try it.
Did you
because
get green in there?
Did I miss green? Roy G. Biv. Oh, I forgot my boy G. Apparently G stands for green and not gangsta. So my boy Roy G. Biv, throw that back up because I want to point at this. The visible spectrum of colors that we associate with the rainbow, it's a very tiny piece of the overall spectrum. Like there's X-rays and gamma rays and there's infrared and microwave and radio waves that we don't see. And what's interesting is, back in the day, people didn't know about ultraviolet radiation being harmful because you can't see it. B, everybody was like, the sun must be awesome. Let's go sit in front of it. So you see George Hamilton out there like this with the cucumbers on his eyes and the big reflector. Turns out probably not a good idea. So certain elements of that radiation spectrum seem to be harmful. Now the question is, how do you figure this out? Well, UV, it turns out, was melting people's faces, causing wrinkles, causing cancer, and that kind of thing. And with the eyes, it actually does some interesting things. It turns out most ultraviolet is blocked by the anterior part, the front part of the eye, so the crystalline lens and the cornea. And it doesn't really get to the retina, which is really the sensor, the nervous sensor of the eye in the back. So most of the damage from UV happens to occur in the front of the eye. So the cornea gets cloudy and you end up with, I'm pimping her.
Cataracts.
And she's like 20x smarter than me, twice as educated, and I'm like, so what's that called? I fall right back into medical teaching mode when I'm trying to teach. So, but there's also other damage. So you can actually get eyelid malignancies, obviously wrinkles and changes like that, other UV-related damage, including things like pterygia and pinguiculum, which go on Google and take a look at those images. They're those little growths that come from the outside of the white part of your eye and start to touch the cornea. And those are caused often by long-term UV radiation. So you often see it in people from the tropics who aren't wearing eye protection and they're out in the sun all the time. So ultraviolet radiation is a known problem, right? Now, in the setting of this, the question is is there other types of light that are in the visible spectrum that may also be problematic? And this is where I was a little bit, I'm always a skeptic, right? Especially when the science is preliminary. But there is data in models and some correlatory data that certain wavelengths of visible blue light, and we can refer to those from here on out as harmful blue light.
It's the highest energy. That's like right above the UV radiation. There we go.
There it is. So harmful blue light, if you look at the spectrum, it's around it centers around 435 nanometers. So it's very energetic, because remember, the shorter the wavelength in in radiation, the more energetic it typically is. So it's the most energetic sort of blue spectrum radiation. Now this harmful, potentially harmful, we call it harmful blue light because in some models, in laboratory models, starting in studies in the 2000s, it seems like those rays penetrate right through the eye and hit the back of the eye. Now, as we recall from our training, some of us do, and some of us have to look it up again. In the eyes, there's rods, which sense sort of black and white and very low light, sort of so-called scotopic vision, and cones, which are responsible for color vision and also bright light, daylight vision. And then you have ganglion cells, which are really receptors for light that send a signal to the brain. And those are most responsible for modifying our circadian rhythms, sleep-wake cycles, things like that. Pupillary responses, like does a pupil constrict and dilate. And what's interesting about blue light in particular is it was shown to hit the back of the retina and cause toxicity potentially. And I hate that word toxicity, but in this case it's a very scientific explanation. It's actually toxic to those cells and may cause cell death.
Right.
And it turns out there's some speculation and some scientific sort of evidence that this may be leading later in life to damaging conditions like age-related macular degeneration. So it turns out age-related macular degeneration is one of the top causes of blindness in people over 50 years old. So that's why this matters to us, CPAC, when we're talking to our patients and we're thinking about our kids and we're thinking about ourselves. Is this idea of harmful blue light actually harmful? Could it be something that we might be able to prevent? And should we be talking about it or at least understanding it better so that we can study it more? And I think the answer is yes.
Right. I mean, I think that, the jury is still out. I think that they've shown in animal models that there's damage to the retinal pigment epithelium, but I don't think they have conclusive in vivo proof at this point. Although, some people might say, well, back in the day, people didn't think UV light was very harmful, but now we know better. I mean, it may turn out to be true for the harmful blue light. It may in fact be harmful. We're just not sure about it yet.
Just because you have glasses doesn't mean you're smarter than me.
You're right. It's not just the glasses.
Yeah, that was pretty much spot on. So the idea that we don't, we're still looking at in vivo, meaning in actual live humans, is important. But the thing is, blue light in general is a spectrum. So there's aspects of blue light that are very helpful, right? So they keep us awake. They promote particular circadian rhythms. Now, in the popular press, when you think about blue light, there's a big mix-up between harmful blue light and the sort of aspects of the blue light that are associated with circadian rhythms. So anyone who owns an Apple device has seen a night shift mode on the device. Night shift shifts that color spectrum after hours from a bluish tint to a yellow tint.
Or you could just use your transition lenses.
Hey, Z,
Good
did
point.
you ever hear the theory that people before electric light, like in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, he talks about people having a second sleep. So like they'd go to sleep at like 8 p.m. or whenever it got dark, and then they'd wake up at like midnight and be awake for 2 hours and like have a light snack or something and then go back to bed. Have you ever heard of this?
Some people still do that.
Some people do, but
Yeah.
I still can't get over the fact that you've read Chaucer's Canterbury Tales.
Must
I'm
have been the
learned,
Cliff
people.
Notes.
I'm learning.
The Cliff
I'm wearing
Notes.
glasses, it proves it.
No, so it's true, and actually that gets to this. So this idea of blue light actually affecting circadian rhythms is a newer phenomenon because we have devices all surrounding us, and everybody in the popular press has been talking about, oh my gosh, blue light from devices, from LEDs, like the lights that are lighting the set, from metal halide lamps that light our streets, and LED lamps. And LEDs have a peak in the 435 nanometer harmful blue light spectrum. So is this a new and potentially dangerous phenomenon for humans, especially in terms of their circadian rhythms when you have the ganglion cell responding and keeping people awake because of blue light? Well, that's one piece of it, but there's a separate piece, which is actual harmful blue light that actually injures the retinal epithelium or retinal cells and can cause potential damage to your vision later in life. And those are separate issues. The other confusing thing, and this I learned from this, blue light is everywhere, and guess what the #1 source of blue light is? The sun. So we are worried about this.
I always knew the sun was stupid and irresponsible.
You know what? The sun is a shill for big light. And I won't have it on my show. That's why
I've had issues with the sun for a long time, Z-Dog.
Dude, me and the sun have beef since like 5 billion years ago when it first came up. And I was like, son, you're gonna be something when you grow up. And he's like, you don't tell me how to play my game, I don't tell you how to play yours. And I was like, son, you and me got beef. Anyway, so the sun is actually vastly more potent as a source of blue light. And so going out in the regular daylight is actually potentially, if the harmful blue light in that solar radiation is really an order of magnitude higher than anything you get from devices. But
about 100 to 500 times.
I mean, not to be precise, Mrs. Glasses, but yes, exactly. So this stuff, all this indoor light, the difference is we're surrounded by it constantly. So that's where we get into this interesting discussion, like, well, are we actually harming ourselves over time? And nobody knows yet. And you guys know me, I'm a skeptic. I'm very much about science-based medicine, so I think we have to continue to study it. The question is, if we can ameliorate some of the risk in the meantime without causing trouble and have other benefits, then maybe we should look at those things. So I think the idea that in early animal experiments you have this damage, that's sort of leading to this concept. Now, well,
I think that the blue light also does increase eye strain, especially with everyone having to work on their computers all day, typing in their notes, or I'm a radiologist, I'm always on the screen. I have had issues with eye strain, and I think that the yellower the hue of your screen, actually, the less strain to your eye that there is.
So you've noticed that?
Yeah, actually I have, and a little bit going back to the circadian rhythm thing, I think it's really important also not to be looking at screens right before bed, and because I do think it messes up your sleep. But if I am, I do make sure to turn on that, that yellow night time iPad so that it doesn't keep me awake. Yeah.
Well, because she works at night and she stares at screens. That's her job. She's a radiologist and she does it at night. Her sleep-wake is really disrupted. And when she was doing it more often, it was even worse. Like she couldn't sleep. And then, let me see your right arm.
Oh.
Every day she's like, can you pull on my right arm because the ergonomics are so bad, even though we've tried to set them, that she's got a tendonitis here.
Eyes.
But I just feel bad. And I like pulling on your arm.
Doing this on camera.
Weren't you telling me that, what was it, that people don't blink naturally when they stare at their phone screen?
I think
you just sit there and stare like
people blink a lot less, and so it messes up the tear film of your eye. And so I have also had a lot of problems with eye dryness. And so actually I got to the point, because I wear contacts, and but it got to the point when I was working that I couldn't wear contacts anymore, because about a few hours into it, my eyes would get so dry, and I'd have to use artificial tears, and I just couldn't continue to work. And actually at some point, I started, actually after a long day of work, I'd drive home, and on the drive home, my eyes would start tearing profusely to the point where I couldn't even continue driving. It was unsafe. I'd have to pull over and let my eyes just tear and burn and sting. And then after about 5 or 10 minutes, they'd recover, and I just keep driving home.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have to make a point of blinking. They say for every 20 minutes of looking at a screen, you have to, look away at something that's 20 feet away, and for 20 seconds.
Well, what is this point of blinking? You think people actually forget to blink when they're doing this?
Yeah, I think that they're just staring at a screen, and they're not blinking as much.
So the idea that we're surrounded by digital devices all the time and we're getting this potentially harmful blue light is a new function in sort of the human experience. So we're still kind of learning about it and trying to understand how to ameliorate the risk of that. If it is a severe risk, and again, there's two types of risk: the circadian risk, the eye strain risk, and the potential harmful blue light risk to long-term vision, right? Which is a newly emerging sort of understanding. So if we're remembering that the sun is the major source of harmful blue light, and that And again, I want to remind people that this is a post that's sponsored by Transitions Optical, and that their representatives are actually helping to answer questions in the comments about eye health, because we think it's actually important enough to talk about that we were willing to partner with them to spread the word and educate people. And we brought Mrs. Doug because she wears glasses, and I don't. And also, she's a lot smarter than me. And of course, Tom wears glasses too, but he's just weird.
I actually really like these transitions. They're pretty awesome, I gotta say.
Yeah, Logan, you like them too, or no?
Yeah, to be honest, when we kind of found out we were doing something with the transitions, I kind of had I was like, oh, why would I get those? And I didn't think I would like them. And then the more I wore them, I started to like them more, and now they've replaced the glass. I have the exact same frame in like the normal lenses.
Yeah.
And I like these a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and you've been wearing them too, and you know, so the thing about eye protection in general, and I think that's the sort of crux of like, well, what can we do about light exposure? UV is primary. You want to have glasses or eyewear, eye protection that covers 100% of UVA and B, both types of radiation, because that's what's going to give you that all the stuff we talked about. And you can actually get eyelid malignancies. You can get, you know, really horrible things, as well as cataracts, damage, photokeratitis, which is a kind of sunburn of the eye, which is very unpleasant. So those kind of things you want, you know, good eyewear that'll protect you. Now, the harmful blue light thing is interesting because you can block it in different ways. And one of the ways is those, remember the blue blockers? Like those big, you know, yellow lenses.
Oh, those are awesome. You just buy them at Walgreens and stuff.
Yeah, they're amazingly ugly. But you know, that's one way, because the yellow, you know, will offset and absorb the blue. So you can put a dye in there. You can wear really dark sunglasses. So very dark sunglasses will block a lot of light, including harmful blue.
So that works for Tom, who wears his sunglasses both in and outdoors.
He's like Corey Hart. He wears his sunglasses at night and during the day. And
This is the problem. Is like somebody said in the comments, shouldn't you just wear your prescription sunglasses all the time then? But like, yeah, but socially you look like an idiot.
Well,
you look like you're trying to be so cool.
Yeah, you look like a surfer guy who's probably imbibing legal marijuana.
Yeah.
And whereas in fact you're just trying to see, damn it.
Well, I'll go all the time to the movies, and like, you know, when you sit in a 3D movie, those 3D glasses are already like, they take a stop of light down when you're watching the film, and then your prescription glasses take another 2 stops of light down, so you're watching this really dark film, and it's
That explains all the exposure settings on every film you've shot for me, Tom Heinerer. Like, why is this so bright? What's going on? He's like, it looks fine to me, Z. So the third way you can do it is you can actually have lenses that are photochromic. So, and these are the type that Transitions makes. They have a process where they offset the dyes so you don't see a yellow tint. And they're able to adapt to levels of light. So if you go outside, they darken so that you're blocking more harmful blue light outside where it's most prevalent. And then when you come in, they lighten up, so it allows your eyes to adjust, but also it blocks indoor blue light, which is obviously less intense, but still important because it's chronic. And so as a result, there's, you know, these are the ways you can actually ameliorate the problems with blue light. And that's why when we were talking to Transitions, we're like, well, that's interesting. I never knew that. So the idea that you can actually save your eyes the adjustment, going outside, they darken up, you're protecting against blue light, you're always protecting against UVA and B, and that's the key thing. And you can put them in whatever frames you like. I thought that was interesting, and it made me want to wear glasses, except not because glasses are for nerds.
And Z, there's a lot of people
A
lot of people have been asking, because these versions don't darken in the car because the cars block out all the UV, but they do make a version that will darken with visible light.
Yeah, and that had come up that you know, there's certain versions that, again, because maybe they're triggered by UV, and I don't know the exact mechanism. The Transitions people in the comments can comment on that.
That's pretty cool. Transitions gave me and Logan these for free, but I'm gonna buy the visible ones, because what I found out is that often when you're outside, you're in the shade, and then you're looking out at the light. You know?
Yeah, and that makes it tougher, right? But if they work and they save you having to have 2 pairs of glasses, I think it's pretty cool.
Oh no, these are super dope too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom, you actually look smarter.
It does.
I look like a hipster because I picked really big frames. I think Logan got.
Those are sunglass
I think
frames,
Logan got better looking frames than I did.
You know what you ought to do though? You really ought to just shave it into a soul patch and wear those glasses, and then suddenly we'll get like an audience of people that we really don't necessarily want.
I'm jealous of Margaret's. I think Margaret's look the best on her.
Yeah, and Margaret's look good.
Well, I went to my optometrist, and they have a really good store. Like, they're really good at picking glasses.
So, and this is a shout out for like optometrists.
What?
Like, we love our optometrists who are members of the Z-Pack. Like, they get.
Do you feel like they don't get enough cred?
I don't think they get enough cred. Like, look, I've never been to an optometrist because I'm scared of them, because they touch eyes and I'm scared of eyes. No, I mean, I'm foolish. I'm 44 years old. I've never seen an optometrist. We need a hashtag like get Z to see the eye doctor, because for all I know, I have glaucoma. For all I know, I have another problem that hasn't been diagnosed. And we see them once a year, if you see them at all, and they do a lot for our health, because how important is your vision to you? It's like key. So look, anything that we aren't answering about eye health, they can answer in depth. So go talk to your optometrist about your eye health. And whatever it is that you particularly need, they can help you. They're fantastic people.
I really need to go more because macular degeneration runs in my family.
Does it?
Everybody in my family has got macular degeneration. It seems really terrible. So.
Well, I'm glad you have some decent lenses, and I'm glad you have sunglasses, and I'm glad that you have to wear glasses, because it probably, if harmful blue light is a component of it, at least you're ameliorating that risk. The rest is genetic, and also all the horrible lifestyle decisions that you make, like. Dabbling in veganism. Other issues. I'm kidding.
Erica says, I usually wouldn't comment on another woman's appearance. Uh-oh.
Oh, snap.
But since it was brought up, Mrs. Z-Dog MD looks amazing. In her
Oh!
Why, thank you.
I'm glad that was the answer, because otherwise I was going to have to come over there and glare at you disapprovingly, because I'm scared of most people. What do you think, Tom Heineber? I think I want to end this cast by, we're going to look through some comments right now, and we're going to thank Transitions Optical for sponsoring the show, because by supporting the Health 3.0 movement, they're supporting better health overall, and they gave us a chance to talk about eye health, which I think was useful. We did minimal shilling, Tom Heineber.
Transitions is amazing.
and we had a darn good time. Let's read some comments. What do you got, Tom?
Andrew says, how about lenses that don't steam up when you're wearing all your C. diff garb and MRSA in the lungs garb?
Do you hear me? Transitions? That is actually key.
That is key.
That is key. In fact, Tom was in a video we did called Acronyms, where...
everybody was mad at me because my glasses are steamed up, and they were saying I don't know how to wear a mask properly.
Yeah, and I was like, no, he doesn't. Because he had the mask like right over the glasses, and he's like... They're like, oh, I see him. Why?
I was like, look at me, I'm a doctor, Z-Dog MD.
Oh my gosh, you might as well just put the fake scope on. I think you did. Someone's accusing me of having presbyopia soon, Kelly Cantola. I already have it. This is as close, let me look at my notes. This is as close as I can get. I'll show you, it's like there, before it's blurry.
Wow.
So pretty soon my arm is not gonna be long enough, and I'm gonna have to see that OD, the notorious OD.
Ronnie Ann says anti-reflection lenses have ones that steam up. You know, this was when we were working in film, me and Logan would always make the actors get anti-reflection coating on their glasses because it's just,
And these have anti-reflective coatings.
yeah, it's way better.
That's dope. That is dope. Go see the eye doctor, especially if you have diabetes type 1 or 2, because high blood sugar can kill the optic nerve. So Dominic Wright, if you have diabetes, look, everyone should see the eye doctor. But if you have diabetes, you better freaking see the eye doctor, because you can lose your sight if not intervened on early enough. And they have interventions now, including preventing the diabetes from getting worse. So to me, like, the threat of losing vision would be a kick in the pants that would get me with my doctor as partners trying to figure out how to make my diabetes better.
Liliana Cook says, what about the Costco glasses Z bought to feel smart?
Oh, people, Liliana, you're a super fan. I bought a 3-pack from
They've
Costco.
been sitting in the cabinet.
No, that's not true.
You have one on your desk that is just for show.
It's for show. It's like, hello, I'm an intellectual. I have a pair of reading glasses on my desk. And you know what? Little Maya comes up and wears them. And she's got the bug eyes. And she's like, I see better with these, Daddy. And I'm like, you take those off before you destroy your vision.
How are the girls' eyesights?
So far perfect. I'm hoping they inherited my 2015 at 44 than her. What's your prescription now?
Well, one of them
me
is
try your glasses.
-7 and the other one's -4.
Can I try your glasses?
I suppose.
Okay, let's see how I can see.
This is not good
Oh
eye
dear
health,
God,
by the way.
why?
Trying on someone else's prescription lenses is not good eye health.
Tom, let's trade.
Help! I feel like Velma when she's lost her glasses.
But you look
Oh,
smarter.
God.
Logan's
I can still tell.
It's
even from
almost
More-
similar.
You're more
Right.
blind than me or
I
less?
think you have astigmatism.
I look better with Logan's glasses, actually.
What do y'all think?
Actually, Tom looks really good. And Logan, you look good with Tom's glasses. Let me see those.
Yeah.
Look at the camera.
I can't
Yeah.
see.
Logan.
It's like
Actually,
kind of
no.
the
Logan's
same.
glasses look better on both of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, hi transitions. If you love ZDogg MD and Health 3.0, you'll send Tom Heineberg a set of Logan's glasses.
Michelle says, I'm getting a headache just watching you guys wear each other's glasses. I have a headache now. I do.
It's true. I literally almost projectile vomited when I wore your glasses. It was
Well,
how do you do it?
I didn't recommend it.
That's true. I mean, wow. You're very vision impaired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although with my glasses off, I feel more relaxed when I can't see anything. When
That's
the world
true.
is a blur.
Sometimes we'll be on, okay, don't judge. Sometimes we'll be on date night and she won't have glasses. And I'm like, oh, you're wearing your contacts today. And she's like, no. And I'm like, so all you see is a blur where I'm supposed to be? And she's like, yeah, it's better that way. Literally, it's like automatic airbrushing. I don't know whether to be insulted or just go, you know, it's a practical lady that I married. She doesn't want to look at wrinkles and oldness every single day.
That's not why. It's just more comfortable.
It's more comfortable not to look at wrinkles and oldness.
Rachel says, familial history of Mac generation, plus I wear bifocal, 43 years old, in the house. I see my eye doctor yearly. How many people do you think are actually seeing their eye doctor like as much as they see their dentist?
I see my eye doctor more.
Yeah, but you got to understand, Logan is a hypochondriac.
I'm blind.
So like Logan goes, because he grew up a military brat, so you just walk on the base.
I got great insurance, Z.
Great
Well,
insurance.
Yeah, but like our dental insurance covers twice a year, whereas my vision insurance, I think they only cover once a year.
It's once a
me.
year.
And it cost me a ton.
Well,
Like,
that's because I get glasses.
it's true. Otherwise, I'd have been like, vision insurance? Who needs that?
See, I think it's like every 3 years or something, it's illegal to use the same prescription. Like you have to get
Yeah,
retested
retested,
for driving. And I went in and they told me that, and I was like, you give me my prescription right now. I'm gonna order these glasses online.
That's how that works. I guess.
Tom is always gaming the system. He's like trying to beat the DMV at its own game.
So I haven't had an eye test in like 67 years.
6-7 years, but his
Yeah.
airbag's been deployed at least 7 times. So there's that. Candace Mulholland says, I look fabulous in the mirror without my glasses and in the dark. What? I like that. My presbyopia is
So
actually
does he.
good. Yeah. I look great airbrushed. Never seen an eye doctor, says Micah Rutland. Don't need none of that voodoo witchcraft.
Science.
There you go. Science.
Something.
Tricare for life, says Jamie Mackey. What do we got here?
Let's see. My son has severe nystagmus. The clue that I
Nystagmus,
missed,
yeah.
Nystagmus. The clue that I missed was side eye. He has to look strongly to the side to focus. It was cute and I overlooked it. Thank God for Prevent Blindness Oklahoma, screening
Wow.
just in the nick of time to avoid surgery.
Wow, that's great. That's a great cautionary tale. Kristen Bainbridge, I got rid of my glasses completely by
saw that.
adopting a raw vegan diet.
It also cures cancer, guys.
It also cures cancer, and I went back to eating cooked food, and I have bad eyesight again. Mucus in the lymphatic system is a problem. Heal naturally, Hardy sign.
See, stop feeding the vegans. I'm bored by them. Erica says, how often are adults supposed to see an eye doctor? I bet my 25 vision has changed since required at 12.
Every year or something.
Every year? Is it once a year?
Probably.
Once a year for good eye health?
That's
I think
what
once a
insurance
year
covers.
at the minimum, and I think stay in contact with your eye doctor if you're having any problems in between. And if you need a referral to an ophthalmologist, then do that as well. And where are my ophthalmologists at? Come on, give me a shout out in the comments. If you're optho, first of all, you chose a good career.
Z, what's the
Great
difference?
lifestyle.
What's the difference?
Logan doesn't know.
What's the difference
I
between an
don't know.
ophthalmologist and an
An
optometrist?
optometrist.
Now, at the risk of creating butthurt by getting it wrong, I'm going
Don't get
to
it
make
wrong.
it very simplified. An ophthalmologist is a medical doctor who went through medical school and a residency and can operate on eyes and does an array of potentially sophisticated procedures. An optometrist goes to a lot of school to make sure they can construct and understand the optics of the eye so they can make corrective apparatuses, they can do diagnosis, simple treatment, and they can take care of a broad variety of things. But when it gets to the medical interventional side, a lot of times the ophthalmologist is the one who's needed to do, laser retina surgery or cataract removal, those kind of things. So they work in cahoots with each other.
Have you heard this? This goes into the Chinese kid theory, which is basically like that we live in this like world where we're increasing myopia because everything's so close to us. Do you put any stock in this?
I don't know that, because again, it gets back to that image. Do you have the image still, Logan?
Did you give me a second? But yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
people
the-
say that the
It's
glasses are like a cast, and you don't really need them
Or it's
or whatever.
also,
if
isn't
you
that
just,
thing about like sitting too close to the TV, you're going to ruin your eyes?
So that's what when
right, it's that same trope. Like,
when I was growing up, okay, look, let's preface this. I have 20/15 vision. My parents used to tell me, you're going to go blind. You're looking at the TV all the time, this Dukes of Hazzard nonsense, and now you're watching this Dallas. First of all, that's for grown-ups. That is the language. But your eyes, because I would literally sit like this to the TV, I would read in the dark, I do all those things, and I always made the analogy, I'd tell my dad, I go, Dad, you don't go deaf from listening to soft music. Why would you go blind from looking at dim stuff? But the truth is, not reading in very dim light is probably a strain on the eye. And it probably causes maldevelopment of the eye. I made that up, but it feels right to my elephant. So transitions agents who are looking at this right now, who are curating the comments, let me know if I'm crazy or if there's evidence to that effect. Or my ophthalmology pals.
Lauren says, I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I don't wear them because they annoy me. My RN always asks me where my glasses are. I did this for a decade, and I was driving and stuff. And let me tell you how I game the DMV system. You put your forehead against that thing, and it turns on the light behind here, right? So what I did was when the woman was away, I pressed it, and I took a picture with my smartphone, and I zoomed in. And I put my smartphone down here in my lap, and I was like, XGWQRSTUV.
My great-grandma memorized the chart.
Oh my gosh.
That's sophisticated gaming of the
Oh my
system
gosh.
of the DMV.
Now, first of all, okay, people are vision shaming me right now. So Julie Santucci, you are 44. First of all, I've just been age shamed. You don't
just
have.
a fact.
You're a fact. I'm all defensive. I'm like, I am 44. What of it? She says, you don't have 20/15 vision, dude. And I'm like, but I tested it myself using the eye chart. And then the next comment, Allison Mikola Jack. Sure you have 20/15 Z because you've assessed yourself. I thought nurses were bad patients. Oh, I just got served.
You got to go see an eye doctor.
You know what? This is what we're going to do. If Transitions wants to continue the conversation, let's get hooked up with an optometrist and do a show where I go and get an eye exam for the first time in my life. And you watch them as they try to do that glaucoma puff test and watch me cry like a little child.
They have fancier versions now, Z. They only touch your eyelashes.
Really?
I go to a really nice doctor.
The puff test is terrible.
The puff test is old.
I took my mother-in-law to do the puff test because she has cataracts, and she got, we went to this great eye center and they got it fixed, but she was deathly afraid of the puff test.
I hate it.
She was crying
I hate it so much.
before we got to the puff test.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's terrible. And I love how you're like laughing at your poor mother-in-law's tears. Oh yeah, she was.
I was there comforting her, but I was like, it's just a poof of air. It's okay.
It's terrible, Z.
Yeah, but I get it because I don't touch my eyes because I don't put in contacts. I don't wear anything. So for me, what was it? Someone was trying to put. You were trying to put drops in my eyes. I forget I had some like.
Well, no, I mean, anytime you get like makeup for your videos, they have to get right up in there. And he starts like doing this and
poor
messing
Lindsay.
up the makeup.
Lindsay, the makeup artist, is like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Nobody touches my eyes."
No, I have really strong eye reflex. I cannot. I tried to shove contacts into my eyes for like, I don't know, an hour or two one time, and I cannot put contacts in my eyes.
Can't make it happen. No,
No.
I feel you, man. I feel you. People are saying, come on, the puff test ain't that bad. Try having a baby, Kelly Cantola.
No, the puff test
She
is
pulled the
worst.
baby card.
It's worse.
It's the worst.
As men, it's worse.
That's right, the worst pain a man can feel
Completely
is
right.
the puff test. And Katie Curry already had colonoscopy on live TV. Nancy Stroker, great. Now I'm getting colon shamed. Like now they want me to have like,
Oh, you're gonna need one, I guess.
I'm
Well,
44, I have 6 years and
no.
no family history.
Fine.
Should I get one though, early?
Well, no, you need to get your sleep study, your eye exam.
Can we live stream the camera they put in you? That would
Yeah.
be insane.
Ugh.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. The whole time they'll be like, this is
gas.
the poorest prep and it's so much gas.
There's just so much gas.
What's going on?
Let's see. Erica says, how unpleasant is it to have your pupils dilated for vision testing? I think I'd freak out if I suddenly couldn't see at all. You can still see.
You can
get
see.
your pupils
You're
dilated.
just very
It's a
sensitive to
little
bright light.
painful, but they numb it.
I did have my pupils dilated in medical school as part of our training. So they had us go through the process where we had our pupils dilated and walk around and stuff. And it was cool. I felt like, picture yourself on a lake by a river. It was fantastic.
Just
Is
don't
that
get pulled
from
over.
The dilation, really?
Huh?
Is that just from the dilation?
Purely from the dilation. If I can touch my eyeballs, no problems, and touch the back of my throat with my fingers without gagging, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome problems, says Carrie Hinchliff. That is, you guys are hecka flexible and have a lot of issues, but I got mad love for EDS. Guys, what do you think? Should we wrap this?
I think let's wrap it up, and thank you very much to Transitions Lenses, who make great lenses, I just have to say.
Now, I'm not going to allow Tom to shill another second. I'm going to be authentic here and tell you guys, I really am thankful to Transition Lenses. They were super cool to work with. They really supported an educational message. They did not try to mess with what we say on this show, and we learned a lot working with them. So we want to thank them. Their representatives are in the comments answering questions, so if you have specific questions about their stuff, feel free to ask. And if this kind of sponsorship model works for you guys, where we're educating and also supporting our sponsor and they're supporting us, let us know. If you think it doesn't work, let us know too, because we're finding the best way to get this show out to you and to grow it and to support basically Logan's severe diaper addiction. He wears them
Severe,
and
I
his
snort
child.
them.
Yeah.
Yep, it's serious.
And guys, like we don't chill. We align with sponsors who are, you know, good for us, good for you, good for everybody. And I just want to say that the Transition family of brand is a product for anyone who wants more than a basic lens. For more information about the company and Transitions lenses, please visit transitions.com. Thank you very much.
You know, there's still a chance we could just move back to the Bay Area and beg for our old jobs back. We could just beg. You would get yours back, right?
I don't think I would need to beg.
We're out.
Go, 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 go. That's the birthday. That's the birthday.